All right, we're in U.S. history. Today is chapter 11, section 1, which again we only have two more chapters to cover. And this is about the start of the Civil War, which they call, of course, the American Civil War, the North versus the South, the blue versus the gray. But also it's brother versus brother, father versus son. And we're going to talk about a little bit about choosing sides and how did these leaders have to pick what side they had to fight for. With being the North or the South, and so we're going to talk about that in this section. The objectives is the North and the South. We're talking about their advantages and disadvantages at the beginning of the war. We'll also talk about those individual choosing sides. All right, choosing sides, and you can either write these down or just study them so you know. All right, first, the Union, or also referred to as the North. Of course, the president is Abraham Lincoln, is on the top. Then you're going to see a series of generals that we will talk when we talk about battles and so forth. McDowell, McClellan, Burnside, Hooker, Meade, and Grant, Farragut, and Sherman. Okay, McDowell, as you see, there are numbers out beside the Union generals. Those are actually the numbers in which they were in the commander-in-chief of the Union forces, and they got fired or replaced by Abraham Lincoln. A lot of times, if you didn't do a job well enough to where Lincoln thinks should be done, he would have you replace. And you can see at the end, he ended up with Grant. Farragut, we'll talk more about each of those generals later in certain battles. And Farragut is one of those at the Battle of Mobile Bay. He is the one that will go lead the Union forces into the attack at Fort Morgan and Fort Gaines. By the way, that's a good fort. And then, of course, you have William Sherman. We'll talk more about him later on. On the Confederates, the southern side, of course, we mentioned earlier Jefferson Davis is the president of the Confederate States. You have Robert E. Lee, Stonewall Jackson, Beauregard, Bragg, Johnson, Pickett, and Longstreet. Now, these are just a few of both sides. Some main ones, just want to make sure you kind of know. So make sure you study them so you can know who's on what side. You need to know, all right, well, Lee was part of the South, or Meade was a northern guy, or Burnside northern, or Longstreet South. Okay, very important to know that. And these guys, they knew each other from military college, from different wars, the War of Mexico, and so forth. So all these people knew each other, and so this is a tough decision to be made to which side you're going to fight with. A lot of times, we take for granted of having to make decisions, and these were life and death. They would have to line up and fight against some people they knew, their friends, and some could do it and some couldn't. All right, now in just a minute, you're going to be seeing a video clip from Gods and Generals. It's that is Colonel Lee, all right, Robert E. Lee. And you're going to see in this video, it only lasts about 3 minutes, so pay attention, 4 minutes. Pay attention to it because he's going to be offered a position as commander of the Union forces. And of course, he's going to end up having to decline the offer because he finds out his state of Virginia is seceding. So this is a tough decision because you can tell the way he has always, what his job is to do. He wants to do his job well. But it's tough to ask someone to attack people they knew. So I want you to watch this video, and then at the end of the video, there's going to be a question, okay, having to do with Robert E. Lee. So I need you to, later I'll have you submit.
Welcome, Colonel Lee. Welcome to my home. Make yourself comfortable there, Colonel. Allow me to get to the point, sir. I have been authorized by President Lincoln himself, with the full blessing of the War Department, to offer you full command of the Army with the rank of Major General. This army being raised to quell this rebellion and, of course, to preserve the Union.
I assume this army is to be used to invade those areas, to eliminate the rebellion by force.
Yes, sir. The federal government has been challenged by these rebels who have been most effective in changing the sentiments of various state legislatures, challenging our Constitution and challenging our central government. The attack on Fort Sumter cannot be ignored.
General, my home is right there across the Potomac, while you can see Arlington House from your front door. My family is spread all over this part of Virginia. If you invade the South, your enemy territory will be there, right across that river.
Well, sir, there is no great outcry for secession in Virginia. It's not a foregone conclusion that Virginia or Tennessee, Arkansas, or Kentucky will join the rebellion.
My friend, may I humbly submit that you're mistaken about Virginia. As you know, the legislature is convening in Richmond this very day to discuss the very issue of secession. Now, perhaps you know their mind better than they themselves. And I regret to say the president's hasty calling up of 75,000 volunteers to subdue the rebellion in the Cotton States has done nothing to ameliorate the crisis. It has only deepened it.
I trust you're not being too hasty yourself, Colonel. This is a great opportunity for you to serve your country.
My country, Mr. Blair. I never thought I'd live to see the day that the President of the United States would raise an army to invade his own country. No, Mr. Blair, I cannot lead it. I will not lead it.
I'm sorry to hear you say that, sir. I fear you're making a most dreadful mistake.
Sir, would you please convey my deepest sense of honor and gratitude to the President, but I must decline his offer. Please tell him, please be clear. I have never taken my duties lightly, but I have no greater duty than to my home, to Virginia. Thank you, sir.
All right, so you saw a video of Robert E. Lee. Now I need you to answer this question. In your opinion, was Robert E. Lee a traitor to the Union or not? And then tell me why.